Hi everyone! Wanted to do a follow-up video after our week of high winds. For those of you that follow us on Instagram, you've seen some of the footage we took at night and just
crazy winds.
Crazy winds, 60 to 80 miles an hour. So what we wanted to do was just take you around and just show you how things are doing. We really appreciate all the care that you guys showed in our Instagram
really nice.
posts. So let's get right to it.
Okay.
The first thing that I see, the Japanese privets took a big hit.
Oh man, they are just completely thinned out.
Yeah, these are the trees that we have along our backyard fence for privacy, for our neighbors, and some separation, etc. And the wind just thinned them out.
Yeah, you can see right through them now.
Yeah, and they're all along the bottom there.
Now the one benefit about that is though, it blew a lot of the leaves off, which blew them into my raised beds, which actually helps kind of insulate from the cold and then adds organic matter to the soil. So I'm actually kind of excited about that.
Yeah, kind of nature does its thing.
Yeah, definitely. And it started to rain right as we came out today too.
Of course. So we just said, we're getting this done. I got a plastic Ziploc bag over the camera. We're going for it, even if it keeps raining again.
That's right. Now another thing, a result of the wind, is that my scarlet runner beans on the garden arch from the cattle panel, they were kind of on their way out anyway, but it blew a lot of those leaves off. So it's looking really thin, really dead. I really need to clear that out.
I didn't even notice that till now. You're right.
Looks really thin. The Smart Pots deck is actually looking pretty good though. I had to pretty it up for a photo shoot yesterday for my book. You guys might have seen that on Instagram.
Let's go over here and show something. We've got a little critter problem back here.
Do we ever?
Yes, and I've got footage of him right in here.
We have watched this guy from up on our deck.
Oh, he's brazen.
He's gone back and forth up there and just dug in here, and I haven't had a chance to get down here and look at it. So
he's the chunkiest squirrel I've ever seen.
Yes.
How's the damage?
Is fat. Well, he climbed up in my mom's here and was just chowing down.
He chowed him down.
He really did. They weren't flowering yet, but they did have a lot of buds on them, and he did kind of dig into some of the new growth. And Jerry, I think you said you saw him over in here too, right?
He was in the purple Smart Pots.
He probably,
on his hind 2 feet.
Oh my gosh. He was probably eating, this is purple cabbage, and these are some peas. Oh, and these peas are starting to flower. So as soon as those flower and start to develop peas, he's going to be all over that.
Yeah, the battle is real. I mean, it's just nonstop. There's always something that's in the garden, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen a squirrel since summertime, and here they are. Guess they like the rain too. And chowing down on my new little peas and my new little plants. I'm really glad though that he did not get my broccoli.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So the urban raised bed here, the Smart Pots urban raised bed, is growing like crazy. It survived the winds. You guys saw how I covered it on Instagram. I was protecting it for a photo shoot for my new book. And look at the broccoli. I'm so glad that the squirrel didn't get it. It looks absolutely beautiful. So hopefully I'll be able to harvest some of that soon.
So this fared well in the wind, and the squirrel didn't get to it.
Yeah, well thank goodness I had it covered, and I guess the squirrel hasn't found it yet. Oh, there's some beets back here too.
Of course.
Wow, it's looking good. Woohoo, can't wait to harvest it. Well, it actually stopped raining for just a little bit. It's really pleasant out here, nice and cool. It feels really fresh.
It's actually very pretty and very fresh.
Yeah, it feels great. And every single leaf blew off of my okra plant. So that's a little bit crazy. It was full with a lot of leaves on it. But the cool thing is, you guys, there are some brand new buds. Life has a way of making it through even the crazy windstorms. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I think there's some little okra. Look at that. Brand new little okra coming on. So this plant is a real trooper, and I think it's going to survive the winter here. So let's just head over here and we'll kind of check out the things that blew around in the wind. We've got buckets, watering cans that blew off the wall. I don't know if you guys remember a big tall tower trellis that was here all summer that actually blew over in the last windstorm. So I just laid it down here behind the fountain because I didn't want it to get broken in this windstorm. But all in all, this area held up pretty good. The tomatoes don't really look like they sustained much damage aside from being a little bit cold damaged.
Shed did good.
The shed actually did really well. It held up perfectly. Really glad about that. The door still opens and closes pretty well.
Yeah, one thing I was glad about that was that I did do one nail through the floor.
Oh, that's right.
One of those long nails. And we may have did one screw through the back into this wood here.
I think you did. You hooked it on to the back just
Yeah.
for stability. It's always good with earthquakes here in California too.
So that felt good
And the winds.
to see it hold up.
And the fence. I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram this week. I posted a video out here with the wind and it was blowing around like crazy. This tree was absolutely going crazy. But the fence, I am so impressed with how this fence is holding up. It has sunk in a ton of concrete and it did not budge. It might have swayed just a little bit, but it's still up. We're so thankful that we were able to have it built before this last windstorm.
Yeah, I texted our builder and I said, hey, by the way, fence held up great in 60-mile-an-hour winds. He was pretty psyched about it.
We are supposed to get a lot of rain the next 2 weeks. And what I like to do before it rains is plant a whole bunch of seeds so that the rain does the work for me. I don't have to water. And then boom, before you know it, I have a whole garden bed full of vegetables. One of my favorite things to do that with is greens, especially now in the cooler temperatures in Southern California. So I'm going to take this chance when we have a little break in the rain. I've been carrying around those little smart pots with me outside in case the rain stopped, to throw down some seeds. Here I've got the spring garden seed collection. And I think I'm going to plant some kale. I'm a little bit short on kale right now. So I'm going to grab the red Russian kale. So fast to plant this. I'm just going to plant it in between the other plants I have in here. I still have some eggplant left over from the summer. The trees are dripping water all over the place. But one reason why I love to do this is because it just makes my job so much easier. And I'm just going to sprinkle the seeds in here.
Just like that.
Yep, just like that.
So casual about it.
So quick.
It's crazy. I don't think I knew you did this.
Yeah, I was trying to plant a little bit right before it rains, as much as I have time for. I just like the fact that I don't really have to do anything but sprinkle the seeds in. And things grow so fast in the rain. I'm just going to grab a handful and kind of sprinkle that over the soil. Because the rain has all kinds of natural minerals in it. And it greens things up so quickly, way more than if I water a ton. There you go, guys. We've got some red Russian kale planted.
That's cool.
I'm going to be excited to come out here and check on it and see how it's growing. Now I did plant, before my trellis fell over, I did plant some peas in here. But they did get a little bit battered around by the wind. But I may try and pop that trellis back in here and see if we can get these to recover and start climbing.
Cool. Okay. Taking a look here at the deck skirting, we did lose some boards. Some of these are a bit older, but this part over here is what concerns me. I don't know if you can get in there, Kim. Kim's doing a camera right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
But we've got soil here now that is pushing away from the house, and you want to keep it up by the house. So we're going to have to, dig, push the soil back, and put in redo the skirting. We'll have to take care of that on a different work day, and of course we'll bring you guys along for some video on that as well.
Okay, come on, you guys. Let's head over here. I want to show you something else. Remember how I had tomatillos planted in this wooden tower last summer? Well, I was watching this from the window one day and it was completely kind of blowing over in the wind. It didn't totally blow over, but it was definitely coming out of its footings here. So I need to kind of push this back in. Actually, the soil's nice and moist now from the rain, so it's going back in pretty easily. I'm glad it didn't fall over and blow away because I really didn't want it to break. And while I'm here, I'm going to take this opportunity to plant a few more seeds. This time it's going to be sugar and snap peas from the spring garden seed collection. And
more seeds.
More seeds. You can't go wrong with more seeds. I planted some in here a little while back. They're just coming up. But I'm wondering if little squirrely might have got some too. So we'll pop some in here. Peas work really well to plant directly outside. As soon as you can work your soil, if you live in an area where you get frost and your ground is frozen hard, they're one of the earliest vegetables you can plant in the spring. So I'm just going to put this seed down here in the soil, poke it down in there. It's so easy. It takes just a couple of minutes to get yourself some peas. They love the cool, rainy weather. And I just am so excited to see this trellis covered with peas. We had tomatillos in the summertime.
Hey, you know what? I got to show you something. Don't you think this looks a lot greener after a rain?
It does. Just today, it looks so much greener. That's what rain
gorgeous.
does. It is so pretty. The colors just pop.
Look
We
at
actually
those
shot
colors.
this garden bed yesterday too for the book. I love how it looks here. The daisies, the poppies.
Let me see if I can get close into these water drops.
Oh,
That
the
is just
nasturtiums.
gorgeous. Look at those drops.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty out here right after a rain.
So pretty. The sun is just kind of peeking through the clouds. It's like a little dose of garden therapy. And you know what I have out right now? I've got some
Are you going to plant more seeds right now?
Every opportunity.
Oh my gosh, you're funny.
Lettuce collection this time, guys. Paris Cause. Actually left a little empty spot in this garden bed on purpose. This lettuce is ready to harvest, and hopefully, I think, oh, here's some munchies right here. I did see this squirrel crawling over the deck down into this area, so I think it's kind of munching away here.
Totally.
So we better have some salad tonight before the squirrel gets it. Now I left an empty spot here in this garden bed for a reason. That's one way that you can succession plant or plant in intervals, so you always have something to harvest and don't have too much growing at once. Leave a little blank spot, plant your lettuce bed, and then a few weeks later plant some more seeds. That way you can spread the harvest out. So here I'm going to put in some Paris Cause romaine from the lettuce seed collection. And it is so easy. You guys can literally plant lettuce in less than 5 minutes. Just sprinkle it over the soil, especially right before it rains. It's a perfect time to do it. Sprinkle the lettuce seeds right over the soil.
So in other words, you heard that rain was coming, and so your first thought is I'm going to do some seeds right before the rain.
Oh, absolutely. The rain just makes my job as a gardener so much easier.
Interesting.
So I just sprinkle the seeds. Don't even have to cover lettuce seeds. You just press them down into the soil. They like light to germinate. So the rain will do the work for me, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll see them sprout. We're going to cross our fingers though that the squirrel doesn't get to them before we do. Over on the side yard now, we are so happy that we had this done before the windstorm. We used to have wood chips back here that just blew around terribly in the wind, and just a shelf where everything blew off. This is my compost sack with just dried leaves. It was located towards the front of this area. It completely blew back up against the fence here. So pretty crazy, guys. These winds were nuts.
You know, what's funny is that I saw that there and I thought maybe you did that for a reason. So that was the wind. Wow.
And I even put a couple really heavy pieces of flagstone on it,
yep.
and that didn't hold it.
That's funny.
But at least it didn't fly open and the leaves didn't blow out everywhere. I'm really happy about that. Now here's my compost pile, which has all my kitchen scraps and my yard scraps. And a little strategy here, you guys. I actually took the cover off, or it was folded up. I don't have a cover for this one. And it was pretty dry, so I just took it off, folded it back, and I'm letting the rain do the work of moistening down my compost pile. So compost should be about as moist as a wrung out sponge. Had a little bit of good rain last night and today, and it's already looking a lot wetter. That way it saves me the work of having to get out here with the hose and wet it down. So use that rainwater however you can in your garden.
We made an oversight when we did this side project. This is our rain gutter, and we completely forgot to have the builders dig under and exit the rainwater out somewhere else. So look down here. I had to MacGyver this because the rain was pouring out and eroding all of our, what's it called, Kim?
Decomposed granite.
Decomposed granite.
Well, this is the rain gutter. All the water for the whole entire roof comes through this one gutter.
So we missed it. The builder missed it. They're going to have to come back and, they said they would just do it and bury it and make the water exit somewhere else. But I was out here in the rain putting this little shindig together. And so it comes through another Ziploc bag.
You got to get a close up of this bag.
Down to the pipe. And right now it stopped raining. So all this is supporting the pipe. So don't kick it or anything.
Be really careful. And the pipe goes.
And so the pipe, follow along here past Mr. Mac.
Be careful that we won't trip.
And it just exit for now. The water exits over this step.
So last thing here, guys, if you watched our video last weekend, you saw how we completely cleaned this area up. Well, it got a little bit blown around. But the biggest thing is my peas that were really doing well here, I think are nearly completely destroyed.
Oh.
The trellis blew over. These plants are looking pretty bad. They could recover, but I'll probably go ahead and pop some other pea seeds in here. So all in all, we came through the windstorm pretty well. A little bit of a mess to clean up, but I really expected it to be a whole lot worse. So not too bad.
Not too bad. Now we also had a power outage, a controlled power outage for 31 hours. And a lot of you during this time of the high winds and the power outage or asking, you know, hey, are you guys okay? How are you guys doing? Stay safe, etc. And those for people who follow us on Instagram. So here's our Instagram handles as well if you guys want to join along and follow us. That's the kind of stuff we post there. We are doing good. Thank you again so much for everyone checking in on us. That really, really spoke a lot to me.
Now, a lot of you asked, why is the power out so often there in California? Well, they actually started doing that a couple of years ago because of the crazy wildfires that we have during the high winds. And the electric company, SoCal Edison, did that to kind of help prevent some of those fires.
What happens is sometimes these transformers explode on the telephone pole and they ignite whatever's around the pole. That's how one of the fires started, unfortunately, a few years ago. So they started these rolling blackouts, and you never really know how long they're going to be. We are on a warning email list and text list. So we had an idea what was coming, and we got our generator ready, and made sure we had enough spare fuel, etc. So we did okay that way.
Thanks for hanging out with us here for the update. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We really appreciate all your concerns. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video. That was a good one.